Hi folks, very good afternoon, good morning. Hi Brett, Najam, welcome back to you both. Brian, good morning. Hey folks, I'm liking this breakout here, and I'm in a long ahead of the US Open. Just that there's a lot of to be attracted to this, so I'll just let this play as we're moving along. I'll get started with the rundown. Now, sentiment is positive. The Israel-Iran truce peace is being accepted by markets. China 50 really loving it. S&P, Dow, Nasdaq futures all higher. Volatility pushing lower. We also have Trump speaking with NATO. NATO have agreed to 5% GDP commitment for defense spending over the next 10 years. That's positive for sentiment. It just means greater European security, and US President Trump has affirmed his commitment to NATO. So that's a very strong positive move from US President Trump, and that's likely just lifting sentiment. NATO, remember, the linchpin of NATO, US, is the world's greatest superpower, and so an unequivocal show of support from US President Trump is like gold dust to NATO. And NATO in turn have committed to 5% spending of their GDP over the next 10 years. So US President Trump has managed to get NATO to up its defense spending significantly, and a stronger Europe is hopefully a safer Europe. Certainly can resist the rising Russian influence, and will just make the status quo hopefully just fall back into a little bit more equilibrium. So equity markets enjoying that sentiment. Bond market, a little bit of move in US Treasuries here, just a slight sell-off, and German bonds, the sell-off in UK gilts, nothing massively driving things. Gold lower on the geopolitical risk, oil, Brent crude lower on the geopolitical risk, fading. Silver finding some nice dip buyers in that region. The dollar is lower and now finding some support, waiting for that clear natural driver to push it higher. So we're in an interesting environment. In terms of the economic data out, it's light. Got Powell speaking at 3, not a lot going on in the calendar. You've got, you've got core PCE on Friday. This will be important. Remember, Powell hinted that if inflation continues to go down, then the Fed can start looking to cut interest rates. And Powell also said they've got more rates to cut now than when they were at 0. So just a little bit of a coded message that he's moving towards interest rate cuts, even though he didn't say what Waller and Bowman did, which is that they were expecting an interest rate cut in July. So sentiment's positive out there. Looking at equity markets, you can see on the daily chart, first off, you can see price like trying to push up through these highs. Oops. You can see on the hourly chart, price pushing up here, pushing above those trap sellers, pushing up. So clearly very bullish. Just on in the inventory is positive at the session. 15-minute, you can see we're pushing above the value area high from yesterday, and you can see here that these buyers have trapped these sellers. Now we are stretched up here, okay? There's no two ways about that. But with those buyers having trapped those sellers, I'd expect dip buyers from any retracement here. I'm happy to dip buy with stops just underneath that first standard deviation into the open. And if you look here, you can see this sort of flag pattern developing here with the push above here on the flag pattern and price breaking out on rising volume. So that's not an unreasonable area to expect buyers. If we move back down there, expecting dip buyers. The only sort of downside about this is it's quite stretched to the upside. You don't often want to be taking longs up at these stretch levels, but we are seeing buyers trap sellers, so it's not a bad area. And if you look at the way that price has moved up and opened above the previous value area high, and now we've seen price push up again from this value area high. And we're in sort of price discovery, trying to push higher. So this is an area for buying, and you can just see maybe more clearly here that sort of flag pattern that's trying to push up. Let's get rid of that. Let's maybe put in a on balance volume. So you see we're trying to hold above that area. Whether we will or not remains to be seen, but we're in a decent support area. And price pulling back into that structure having pushed up on the rising volume. We'll see where we go from here, but it's not an unreasonable place to look for buyers at any rate. Structurally, this is a decent area to look for more upside should we get it. Folks, that's just bringing us here to the 15-minute chart. Value area, pushing above, trying to hold, volume building, and I've just got my stops running underneath the first standard deviation. A couple of positions in, seeing if I can run this up. We'll see how we go.
Remarks here from Italy. PM Maloney says a 10% tariff from the US would not be particularly impactful for their firms.
We'll see how we go here, but I'm expecting dip buyers up in this region. This is also a value area. We have pushed up and I'm looking for more upside. I think that's the main thing really. Obviously, if these buyers get trapped here, then I'll close the positions. I think that's everything. Yeah, Powell at 3, that's the other thing. And aside from that, so moving back into that structure and finding buyers on the test of it. So let's see what we get here. And there is a bit of absorption going on here as well. You can see that even though price is moving lower, delta's moving higher. See, price is dropping, but you've got buyers coming in. So, there are buyers here, and let's see how they do. I'm struggling a little bit with a target here.
Just seeing an update from Bloomberg. Reporter on X says that President Trump is currently meeting with Ukrainian President Zelensky now. Press are not being taken in for the meeting, and then Trump will hold his press conference once it wraps.
Yeah, okay, nice, yeah. Yeah, I'm sort of going for 5 points off
the from a supply forecaster. They're reporting that the Zelensky-Trump meeting is over, lasted around 50 minutes. Just following the US cash open, indices are mixed. S&P 500 up 0.25%, Nasdaq 100 outperforming up 60 basis points, Dow Jones down 10 basis points, and then Russell 2000 underperforming down 40. Do you have sectors open mostly in the red? Real estate, materials and energy underperform, and outperformance seen in tech and communications. News flow has been on the light side with commentary seen overnight from Fed Schmidt, who said the central bank has time to study tariff effects on inflation before any rate decision. Meanwhile, the focus is on the NATO summit, where Trump is expected to give a press conference at any time now. And then in the FX space, dollar is on the front foot. Strength against the yen is largely behind the upside in the dollar index. And then for the yen, hawkish comments on BOJ's Tamura is failing to support upside for the yen. Did note that if upward price risks heighten, central bank may face a situation where it needs to raise rates decisively, even if uncertainty is high. And then elsewhere, the Kiwi is outperforming, while the Aussie is a little changed after weighted CPI was on the cool side. And now just seeing comments here from Feds Collins, says monetary policy well positioned, time for patience and care. And just continuing, and does add that the US economy is solid overall.
Okay. Yeah, so
Feds Collins has supported the Fed's decision to hold steady on rates last week.
Yeah, 6176 is the next one. Nice if we get a 15-minute breakout of this level here. And we've got buyers have trapped all these sellers here. So buying from here makes sense again. That point of control, or even this value area makes sense. So it's reasonable just to keep these buy positions in.
Feds Collins says that tariffs are likely to push up inflation, lower growth and hiring.
Okay, got Powell coming up at 3, so we've got a bit of time now.
And Feds Collins expects to see more tariff impacts over the coming months.
Yeah, I think that's right. Let's see here. A little bit of weakening. Maybe just wait for Collins to stop speaking and then we should carry on. Oh dear. Okay, retest of that area there. Got power coming in later.
Feds Collins expects it to be appropriate to lower rates later this year, but much depends on tariffs.
Well, would expect a buy there. So I'm just gonna wait and see how that plays out. I'm expecting buyers, so. Point control holding for now. Delta weakening. Yeah, let's just see how this goes. It's a tricky one here. Okay, Delta trying to pick up. See, I don't want the Delta to go negative. Still positive just. We've had some sellers. Okay, we're just testing those sellers here. 11 minutes till POW. I think of POW yesterday, he was leaning more dovish, really. Let's see. You'd expect dip buying into POW, I think. Let's give it a little test. Yeah.
Just coming up at the top of the hour on the US calendar, we are looking out for new home sale units for May. Expectations are of a decline to 693,000 from 743,000. Also, we're looking out for Fed Chair Powell is to deliver a testimony before the Senate after he did give that testimony yesterday towards the House. Just recapping some of those remarks from the House, which he's likely expected to repeat. When asked about the possibility of a buy cut, did keep his options open, saying many paths are possible.
An attempt at breaking out of that area as well. So attempt of a sell-off. Right, let's have a look at that. That was a sell-off. I was out on break even on my other accounts. Just wanted to give that a little bit more space. This one, it's the pass to account to pass. And clearly those buyers are just being shaked out now.